Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. So, start of August means it's a brand new month of pens in use. This month, the theme I'm using are pens that I bought which cost me between 50 and 100 Australian dollars. So join me now down on the mat. Let's take a look at these pens and a look at the inks that I'm going to be using with them. Welcome down to the mat. As I said in the intro, this video we're going to be looking at the pens that I'm going to be using during the month of August, and these are all pens that cost me between 50 and 100 Australian dollars. We're going to start it off by looking at this one. This is a Narwhal Schuylkill and it's in the chromic teal pattern. It's a really gorgeous pen. I love the colours on this. I'm just going to fetch this over here so we can see it against the white. Let me just turn it around. Look at the blues and the browns that are in there. Absolutely love the look of this pen. As you can see, it's got a little tiny ink window and we can see the blueness of that ink that's in there. The nib on here, if I take that out, is just a plain number 6 style nib, and it's just got that really silver colour with the Narwhal logo on there. It's got a medium nib on it. The ink is by Diamond and it's Diamond Marine. I love this colour. I've got this and I've got an Aqua Lagoon by Diamond, which are very similar shades. This to me has got a little bit more green in it than the Aqua Lagoon, but I love this ink. I love the colour of it. There's a little bit of shading coming through on my swatch. It'll be interesting to see if that shading comes through in the nib, but yeah, really nice. So my first pen, as I say, it's a Narwhal Schuylkill. Let's make sure I spell this correctly. With that medium nib, and this cost 89 Australian dollars. So a fairly reasonably priced pen there. As we said, the ink by Diamond and it's marine. I love this colour. I think it looks really nice. On this Oxford paper, I can see a little bit of shading already developing as I'm writing. So hopefully I'll see that as I go through the month and look at it on different papers. Let's look at our drying times. So we start off immediate. Going to wait 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Well, we're virtually dry there, aren't we? Finally, 1 minute. After a minute, still smudging it a little tiny bit, but not enough that I'd worry about. So I think this is going to be a nice pen for when I'm taking my long form notes. So this is the Narwhal Schuylkill Chromic Teal and Diamond Marine ink. Pen number 2 for this month is a PenBBS, and this is the model 487. This has got a fine nib, but saying that, it's a fairly generous fine nib. It's another pen that I like the look of. It's hard to see with the ink, so if we look more up here at the cap, you can see it's got swirls of blues and browns and white. Really nice colouring in there. With this ink in here, you can't really see the blues as much, but the whites are really standing out in there. I love the pattern. It's called Cordiorite. It's really nice. The ink I've got in here is by Diamond and it's Oxford Blue, a really deep dark blue colour. Up till now, the only ink that's been in this pen is Colourverse Supernova, and it's really expensive to buy over here in Australia. So I've been looking for some alternatives. So that's why I've got this Oxford Blue in here. This is a magnetic filling pen. Up here, you can see there's this silver thing. What you do is to fill it, that attaches there, and then you drag this down, then drag it back up to fill. I'll be honest with you, it's never worked for me. I have not been able to get that to work. It seems to be that it's just jammed in there so hard that it will not shift no matter what I do. So all I do is I eyedropper this pen, which is easy enough because to do that, I just unscrew the section, fill it up with my syringe, make sure there's plenty of silicone grease around there, and then just seal it back up. it holds a really nice amount of ink. I'm not sure, I would think it's about 2 millilitres. I've never measured it, but usually from one fill of this, it lasts me usually about 2 months. So it really does write for a long time. So let's get rid of that card. What we've got, a PenBBS. And it's a 487 with the fine nib. Cost wise, it's the cheapest pen that we've got today. It's 54 Australian dollars. The ink, Diamond, Oxford Blue. It's a nice colour when you see it coming out of the nib. It's still got that darkness. On here, I'm not seeing much in the way of shading, but it's such a dark ink, I don't know if I'd expect to see that anyway. But it's something I will explore as the month goes on. Drying times, so immediate. 10 seconds. It's drying off a lot quicker than that marine, isn't it? 30 seconds. Finally, 1 minute. And after a minute, again, more or less dry, little tiny bit of smudging, but I would say less than what I'm seeing on that Diamond Marine. So another nice pen and ink combination for note taking. So this is the PenBBS 487 with Diamond Oxford Blue. Pen number 3 is a TWSBI Diamond 580. This has got a broad nib. In here I've got Diamond Autumn Oak. Nice orangey brown ink here. Looks really good. I've had this in this pen for a couple of weeks. I haven't really used it overly much, but this is a nice brown colour. I can see little bits of a sheen coming through in there, but that could be just because I put too much ink down on the card. But yeah, looks really nice. So we have here a TWSBI. Diamond 580. In that broad nib. This pen costs 72 Australian dollars. The ink, Diamond Autumn Oak. I'm really a couple of months too late really to be using an autumn colour because it's the middle of winter here, but I like the colour. I think it's nice. Let's test our drying times. Immediate. Oh, I still have a bit of blue on there. Make sure I wipe my finger off before we do the next one. 10 seconds. Wow, that's looking very dry already. 30 seconds. Little bit of wetness coming off those edges. So for completeness, 1 minute. After 1 minute, yeah, it's definitely dry now. So this here is the TWSBI Diamond 580 with the broad nib and Diamond Autumn Oak. So pen number 4. This is the Moonman M800 in amber. I love the colour of this pen. I love these sections where you've got the difference in the material. So we've got transparent there with bits of black going through. Then we come around and then we've got this gorgeous, like a cat's eye type colouring. I think it looks really, really nice. This pen, it's a cartridge converter. So there's a cartridge that's inside it. It's the Moonman converter. It's the first cartridge converter we've looked at today. The Schuylkill and the 580, they were both piston fillers. The 487, as I showed you, I eyedroppered it. This one, yeah, cartridge converter. The ink that I've got in here is Diamond Ochre. So this is more browner. So this has got more brown in than the previous ink. It looks really nice in this amber pen. I'll just fetch it over just so you can see. So where we've got the more clear material, it's really picking up nicely against that ochre. Again with this, not really much in the way of sheen, but on the pick card we see lots of shading coming through. So the pen we've got here is a Moonman M800 with a fine Bock nib. and this cost 66 Australian dollars. This pen comes with a choice of two nibs. You can either have the Moonman nib or you can have the bottle nib. You pay more for the bottle nib. Of the two, I do prefer the bottle nib, but I do question if it's worth the extra money because they both write well. I've got two with the Moonman nib, I've got two with the bottle nib, and yes, there's a little bit more feedback on the Moonman nib, but as I say, it writes nicely. You can tell this is a fine. Unlike the PenBBS, which, as I say, is a really generous fine, this one, the line, is a lot thinner. Ink, as we looked, is another Diamond ink. And it's ochre. I like this ink. It's a nice colour. We're seeing shading coming through just from this little bit of writing we've done. You know, the O's got some, the C, the H, the D there, the M, each of the numbers. I'm really looking forward to trying this one out and spending more time using this during the next month. Let's look at our drying times. So we got immediate. I would say in terms of wetness, it matches all the rest. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Finally, 1 minute. After a minute, again similar to the 487 and the Schuylkill, there's still a little bit of wetness there. So again, it's something, yeah, be nice for taking notes. It's a nice dark colour. Looking forward to getting in and using this one. So this is the Moonman M800 with that bottle nib and Diamond ochre. Pen number 4. This one is a handmade pen that I bought from Fremantle Market. The material on this, let me just show you around it. What he does is he takes minerals that are local within Western Australia. He crushes them up and then mixes them with the resin to give this highly unique colouring. Just slowly turn that around again. I think this looks really nice. So in here I can see greys, yellows, I've got some purple coming through there, silver, really lovely colour in here. It's an unusual pen. I believe it starts with standard kit. Then, as I say, he builds it all up. The nib, it's just a plain nib and it's there labelled. And it's like one of those, and it's an iridium point Germany. That's all that's marked on it. Doesn't mean it's been made in Germany. I don't know really why they call that. Maybe the iridium came from Germany initially. I don't know. That's just a guess. The ink I'm going to put in here, I'm going to break from my pattern. The ink is not by Diamond. It's by Ancient Song, which is a Chinese manufacturer, and it's called Wanderer's Song. So it's a nice red colour. I know it doesn't exactly match. I should have put a grey in it, but I thought to myself, no, I fancy something different. And I thought, greys, well, it's a bit like black. You can put it with virtually anything. This ink, if we can look on the card, it's got a really nice gold sheen to it. And I'm hoping that will come out in the writing. But I don't know, I haven't written with this pen apart from the slight test that I did after I filled it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes this month. And I do hope some of this gold sheen comes through. So we've got here, I'm going to call it a Fremantle Market. If I can spell, market. It's a medium nib and it cost $99. Although I'm saying it cost $99, it did come with a ballpoint in the same pattern. So it was really nice and affordable. Personally, I don't use the ballpoint. I gave it to my wife and she's got it in her handbag. The ink, Ancient Song. Wanderer's Song. I've bought a number of Ancient Song inks as little samples to try them out because I've never really heard of them before. And this is the first one that I've really had in a pen. I like the look of this. I'm seeing a load of shading coming through, you know, on the S, the A, the S there, but I'm not seeing much of that gold sheen. which is a shame. Now, I did shake the pen a bit before I started writing just to do everything I can to help it. So I'm going to have to watch this as I go through the month to see if that gold does come through. Our drying times, so we go immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, that's dried off quite nicely already, 1 minute. After a minute, that's nice and dry. I really like this ink. I think it looks really nice. It's not that red colour. I think it's more towards the purpley side of red. But yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to trying this out. And this could be one where I end up getting a bottle. We'll know better at the end of the month, but I like the look of this. So this is the Fremantle pen with Ancient Song, Wanderer's Song. My final pen this month, let me move the paper just so we can see the bottom. This is another PenBBS. It's the model 456. This is in the cloud pattern. I absolutely love this pattern. Just going to slowly turn it around. You can see from the cap, it's mainly white, but there's a lot of translucency to it. So when we come down to the body, because there's a blue ink in here, I know, spoiler alert, it does affect the way that that material looks. It gives it more of a blue tinge. Really love this. It's a piston filling pen, so you do get a nice good fill in there. The nib on this, again, just a standard PenBBS nib. And I've got to be honest, I don't think I've really had any problems with any PenBBS nibs. The ink is a Robert Oster ink, so again breaking from that Diamond tradition, and it's Torquay. So this is a nice aqua blue colour. I've deliberately chosen this colour because I want to compare it first against the Diamond Marine, which, as I say, is more on the greeny side. But once this marine's finished in that Schuylkill, I'm going to put the Aqua Lagoon in there as well, so I can then compare the Torquay against the Aqua Lagoon. I like all the colours. They're nice bright blue colours. It's in your face, and sometimes I like to see that, especially when I'm just making notes for myself. It gives that interest to what you're writing. It makes it different than just seeing it in that black or the blue that you would get in your Bic biros. So let's do our writing. So what we've got here is a PenBBS. .456. Again, it's got a fine nib, but it's a generous fine. This cost me 57 Australian dollars. The ink, Robert Oster Torquay. When we lived in Melbourne, we used to enjoy going to the beach at Torquay, so I thought, yeah, it's a nice throwback to a memory. Drying times, immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, finally 1 minute. After a minute, that one's nice and dry. So I'll just pull this paper down slightly. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a view of more of them. So the Marine and the Torquay do look very similar. I say I don't have them next to each other at the moment. That slight green in the Marine. But when I see this Torquay written, it also looks a little bit green. So it's going to be interesting to do a proper comparison between them. But anyway, this is the PenBBS 456 with Robert Oster Torquay. Just going to clear this off, then we'll fetch in a pen tray and we'll take one final look at the pens for this month. So the pens that I'm going to be using during the month of August, we start with a Narwhal Schuylkill with Diamond Marine, a PenBBS 487 with Diamond Oxford Blue, a TWSBI 580 with Diamond Autumn Oak, a Moonman M800 with Diamond Ochre, my Fremantle pen with Ancient Song, Wanderer's Song, and the last pen, a PenBBS 456 with Robert Oster Torquay. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What do you think about my pens? What do you think about my ink selections? What pens and inks are you going to be using this month? I'd love to know because, to be honest, sometimes that helps me to decide on the next pen that I'm going to buy. Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart that conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button, The more people that like and comment, well, it just helps to drive the YouTube algorithm so it surfaces my content for other people. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.